Welcome to Ramblings of a Lymphoma Lunatic, episode 2. Aimee, that's
Hi.
what it'll be called.
Oh my God. Oh dear
No
God.
pressure.
Okay.
So Aimee is my sister-in-law, but
Mhm.
also my friend.
Mhm.
Um, and invited her onto the podcast really because throughout my journey so far, you've been a very pivotal character.
Thanks.
To be honest, you've been at the forefront of a lot of it.
Cool.
Um, Similar to my mum.
Yes.
I know she did.
Your mum's like the queen of it though, like the queen.
Yeah, but you're to be fair, you're not too far behind.
No, your mum did amazing.
When it comes to like looking out for me, looking after me, um, helping me through everything, you
That's what
were
family's
really
for.
there for me.
So
The
I'm
listeners, a little bit about yourself.
I'm Aimee, as Kelly just said. She'd asked me on this and I went, no, I will be your cheerleader from the sidelines because this is definitely not something I would ever normally do.
Out of everybody I know, you were very much into the research
Yes.
right from the get go. Even when I got my diagnosis and I got all my information, you would sit and read
Front to back of the book.
all the stuff. Yeah, probably more than I would read it. Do you think it was helpful for you to read? Are
Yeah.
you more of like an information type person? Because not everybody's like that. Some people, well, I was probably quite disassociated from it.
You were going through
Probably a
it.
lot of people are more
Yeah.
like that than they are like wanting to delve into the nitty gritty.
The way I look at it is I just wanted to know what could be in front of us so that I could be prepared to know how I can potentially help. Obviously, there's always the emotional side of things where you don't know how you're emotionally going to react to something, but if I knew some more facts, at least I would be less surprised at what's to come because it's not your role to support the people in your life, it's our role to be there for you. So that's why I delved into research. You've actually got lymphocyte deplete lymphoma, obviously, you told us that. So doing my research, it's only 2 or 3% of the Western civilization actually get this type of cancer. It's really rare type of Hodgkin's lymphoma, and which to me, and I think you'd even said it's a bit more scary because they don't know as much about it, made it like, oh wow, like what is this then if it's not very well studied, if they've not got much research on it?
I know, and to be fair, I was lucky that I had
That,
Dr. Culligan really as well.
yeah.
Um, one of the reasons he was probably pretty involved from the start was because of the diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was, there was parts of it that was scarier, but he was very good at settling any fears I had.
Yeah.
He said to me from the get go that we were going for cure.
Oh, he
It
was
wasn't just
amazing to you.
surviving; it was actually curing, and
Mm-hmm.
um, there wasn't necessarily any reason why I wouldn't make it through.
Yeah.
And I knew it was aggressive, which was quite scary.
But you hadn't actually advertised that. You might have said it to your mum, but I think you hadn't told your siblings or their partners. They quite like, maybe I don't need to scare others. I don't know your mindset there, but you hadn't told us all.
Yeah, I mean,
It was one day when I was here, I said to you, oh, so you were like, I'm stage 2, and I'm like, B. And you went, yeah. And I went, and that means aggressive and, what was the other word? Aggressive and
advanced.
advanced.
Yeah.
So when you hear stage 2, not that any stage is acceptable, like it's scary, it's not nice, but it's normally when you hear 3 or 4, you're like, oh. Stage 1 and 2, you're like, oh, there's that slither of hope, there's that like it makes.
I mean, it's different with lymphoma, I've said before, because like the way they stage lymphoma is they
Yeah.
kind of chop your body in half.
Yeah.
And if it's in one half of that body,
Mm-hmm.
then it's stage 1 or 2. If it's in two halves, so if it's above your diaphragm only, you're
Mm-hmm.
stage 1 or 2. If it's above and below, say, then you could be
3 or 4.
And then I think if it goes into your bone marrow and stuff like that, it's a lot worse. Yeah, it potentially could have been a lot worse had I not been seen when I was seen. So,
and being the lymphocyte deplete Hodgkin's lymphoma also meant you had cancer of the immune system anyway, but because of the type as well, even more so, you had to be so stringent with the rules.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think with lymphoma diagnosis is, I don't know if they're all different, but obviously the book I got kind of explained exactly what I should and shouldn't be doing. And when I spoke to the doctors and stuff about that, it was surprising to me the amount of people that don't follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them said, oh, not everyone does what they need to do. And I would think, oh my gosh, that's like crazy. But then not everyone has the support network I have.
Fair.
It was like being in COVID again.
Yeah, you were so good with sticking to your rules.
But I just think even like the littlest thing, like your immune system can be so low, and then imagine you had nobody to take you to the hospital, you can get there without like having to get on a bus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there is certain circumstances that freak me out that people do have to do that I just am like, how do they
manage
that and not get anxiety? Because that's it would give me, I suppose, because I didn't want to become an inpatient, I had like quite a lot of anxiety about not catching an infection.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I was so strict on the rules. I didn't want to be.
You did amazing with it. Even your doctor said he was proud of how you could tell you were sticking to the rules. You did what you could to keep yourself as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
And you did amazing with it. And there is obviously, I'm very factual, but I also think it made us a lot closer in the emotional front as well. There was days that you were like, F this, I can do it. But then there was other days that there was no room for emotions. You couldn't show that emotions because you were lying on a couch just passing out sleeping. Like you didn't even have the energy to stay awake. There was no energy to even do things, let alone think about emotions or try process things. And it was very scary going from literally the life and soul of the family and probably your friends and a lot of situations. But everything we do as a family, it's always Kelly's house. It was always Kelly. Obviously your mum is the hub for Christmas and stuff, but out with that, you're the hub. You're the one that pulls the family together for these things.
The Monica Geller.
Yes.
The family.
Yes. So to see the literal life and soul of the family still wanting to be that person, it was really hard to see that shift in you.
You found out I was diagnosed. You did all your research. I actually can't remember telling you guys. So I've got I know that I did. But for me, when I got diagnosed, I came out of the hospital and I don't really remember much about that. So I don't know if I told you over the phone or if I told you in person or if I actually don't remember.
Us on a group FaceTime only because no, you didn't actually say I've got cancer, guys. You were a bit more like, I need you all to get to mum's now. You'd sent a message first and then you FaceTimed us because our group chat, it can take us 5 minutes to reply or it can take us a couple hours depending on if we're busy or not.
Yeah.
So then you did a family FaceTime and you were like, no, like, guys, I need you to come to mum and dad's now, please. And then I think you obviously clicked, well, not everyone could make it, and we're like, look,
I'll just have to say.
Yeah. So then he was in port, tore it to go get him. The two of us came back to your mum. Such a mind blur, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Because I couldn't imagine having to get that news. And like, to be fair, me and my brother are very close.
Very, yeah.
Always have been. So I can't imagine what he would have thought when he heard.
He was a mess.
Yeah, I can imagine it was quite difficult for.
You say you're the Monica of the family. You and him are you've made the joke. We've made this joke. You and him are the Monica and Ross of the family. You are so close. So
yeah.
But his coping mechanism was
to buy me stuff. So I was all right.
Yeah, I was just like, do you need this? I'll get it. Can I drop this off? Can I do this? So he coped in his own way too. But that first moment was just.
Yeah, he gets a lot of praise from like the group chat of girls and that I've got because of the TV bed.
His was let's make her comfortable because he I think there was always that little bit. He'll probably want to come on and do his own one, so I won't say too much in regards to his emotions. But I think a little part of him felt guilty that he still had to be away working throughout a lot of it. So he was like, well, if I'm going away earning this money, it's getting put to good use. It's getting put to helping my sister, and that was how I
ended up in my TV bed.
Yeah.
Best gift ever.
He is a saint. Credit where it's due is your brother. So
bless.
Yeah.
I forgot you made me up that big like pamper kind of pack.
But that's how stringent your rules were. You couldn't even reuse a fake tan mitt.
And I went down a whole rabbit hole of like stripping all the toxin stuff out of my life, you know. I went and got onto that Mugu because I thought not using fake tan was like killer for me, so I was like, I need to find something that's.
Yeah, but you took it to a whole new level, Bibs. You were lying. I went and visited you when you're an inpatient. I'm like, have you tanned? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I got my mum to take.
You're an inpatient. Who's seen you?
I got my mum to take in my fake tan to the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, well, anything you can do to make yourself feel a little bit better.
No, I support it, but I was just like,
I could do without hair, but I couldn't do without tan.
Jesus. And I remember you saying you had to tan the top of your head at times, but then if the hair started regrowing, it went a bit gingy.
Ginger, I know. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I would tan my head, which is something I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
But when my hair started growing little wispy bitties through, which it did kind of in between chemos, it would fall out again and grow a little bit and fall out. And yeah, if I tanned on top of it, when it had that wispy, so it would look ginger.
Yeah.
So tan obviously dyes your hair.
Fair.
If it's really fair.
Fair. But no, like I get why you did it, but at the time I was just like, wow, I barely can be bothered tanning, which I do normally, but I barely can be bothered tanning at all right now. And you're just like,
I also think I was quite good at not letting it, like, you know, it did affect me a lot, and I don't, I don't hide or shy away from that at all. But I do feel like I still kind of managed to remain to be myself,
100%,
as much as I could be myself. You know, because it was actually quite difficult for me seeing other people's lives go on as normal and stuff, while I was like stuck in this like cancer bubble, because that's what it feels like. You feel like you're just stuck in it all of the time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And things would happen around you, but not, you know, you couldn't really
do anything about it or
be
a part.
Or and whether that was something for Millie being Christmas time and stuff, you know what it's like, the schools and all that at that time, or, you know, my friends, or even the family, you know, the thought of not being at Christmas was like quite a big thing for me. I came to terms with it because I was in hospital, and I thought, if I'm not going to get out before Christmas, like, is it more important for Millie to have
but again, you're saying like, the thing I saw most in this journey is 99.9% of the time when you had the energy, it was all Moo. And at points I said to you, which I obviously love you so much, like, you've been in my life for 13 years now, but my main priority was Moo. And I said that to you. I'm like, it's unfair, you got this, you didn't ask for it, but she's 7. Like, how is she meant to process this? How is she meant to understand? You got out just in time for her to be on the stage for the first time.
Yeah.
Every part of this journey, there was a lot of good times in it, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but there was. But the only time I really saw you light up, and it wasn't just you were trying, it was just, it was naturally coming out of you, was if it was anything for Millie. That lit you up.
Yeah, I'm proud of her, the way that she's dealt with everything.
She's amazing.
She wants to come on and do a podcast.
I think that'd be so good.
I'm like, Millie, I don't really know what you would say, but to be fair, hearing it from her point of view might actually be quite interesting. I don't know. And she wants to help all the charities that have helped her. But yeah, she's like, she's brilliant.
She's been so resilient. Like, it's a lesson that no child should have to understand or learn, but if they have to, it's amazing to see how well she's came out of it, how proud of you she is. There was twice I can think of wobbles, 3 times I can think of wobbles with Moo, which was, one was at the caravan where I was taking them out for the afternoon so you could have your nap, and that was the day we drove to Marks and Spencer's to get lunch. Again, you've said it's not sponsored by Marks and Spencer's, but that's where you send me.
I know. Why is it always M&S?
I don't know. We're literally at Lottie and you're like, right, go to Marky's and go get supper. But we're in the car and she did say, she's like, I want my mum to come with us. And it was a pool as well. She wanted you to come swimming. She didn't like that she weren't allowed in pools. Another rule.
I know, but I don't think it would have been then. I would have been allowed to go then.
No, you were too tired. You were
I
pooped.
wouldn't have. Yeah, I was going to
try not to swear.
Wouldn't have managed.
But she was upset you couldn't come to the pool. And then the other 2 that really got me, which I've told you about, so I don't want to make you sad, but was the theatre on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And you're the only person that's gone every single year out the whole family.
Oh, and Hazel.
Yeah, but I mean, like, with your mum, like,
yeah, our little tradition to go to the pantry on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
And Millie was just sitting really quite upset. So I went round to the other side where I was like, you okay? And she was like, I just wish my mum was here. I really miss my mum. So I gave her a squeeze and stuff, and I was like, babe, we'll get to see your mum after. At least she got, because that was obviously just after you got out of hospital, and I was like, she's out, you'll get to see her. But it was a hard one to see that even things that you don't think about, but she was so aware all the time that you weren't there.
Yeah, I know.
And it wasn't like she resented you for that. She wasn't angry at cancer for that. She was just sad. She just wanted you there. And then the one that totally sent me into a oblivion of tears and had to walk away, and I missed that event, but I just couldn't, was Dobby's Santa. Again, that's another family tradition. We do a lot of traditions.
Well, it was Christmas time, so that's when family traditions really pop up. But yeah, I was in hospital when you went to see Santa.
Yeah, we went to go see Santa at Dobby's, and she didn't. It wasn't even like she was doing it to show she was trying to be secretive. She was being quiet. It wasn't an attention thing. And anyway, not that she's that sort of kid. Anyway, she's far from it. But it was like she did it so quietly. You write your wish to Santa, and she did it so quietly. Just, I wish my mummy could get better. And I didn't even notice, because again, she didn't show it. You just pin them on the board, and that's what you do. And it was Richard. He sort of tapped me and went, "Have you seen Millie's?" And I was like, "No." And I went over to the board and I read it, and oh my god, I was just like, Phew! And he was like, "You're gonna doing this for the kids? Get out of here!" I'm like, it's so sad. And I just like walked outside, and I came back as they finished Santa, because for her to write, sorry, I don't want to make you sad.
No, it's okay.
For her to write her wishes, like you've got the other bunch of kids like Erica, Georgia, Tommy, they're wanting toys, and Erica wasn't writing, but like she's drawing things, like whatever it is, they're all obviously just normal concerns. They're not thinking that way, because it's not, as much as they're your auntie, they're not fully aware of this. They're not living with it, like dealing with it every day. It's not so prominent in their lives.
Yeah.
Whereas it was Moo's life as well for the last year. And it was just sad to see. It was hard to see that that's what she wanted.
It's like when I post about Millie, which is very rare on my Instagram, or when I did Courage and stuff, I often say like these things are for Millie, and they really are, because I'm so, I would never say that I'm a brilliant mum or anything, but I am very, very much attached to my daughter in a lot of ways. We're very close, and I just think like no young kid should have to have the worry of whether it's cancer or something else, but the worry of their mum and dad being unwell, and not being there or whatever. And so many kids have to deal with that, and to think like, what 8-year-old sorry, get a bit upset, but like what 8-year-old really should have their Christmas Santa wish to be for mummy to get better. I sat and read that in the hospital and thought like, no, I didn't feel guilty because it's not something I could help. But it's
I know,
like,
maybe could I wait till I saw you, not just
daughter...
sent you a photo. I'm sorry.
No, because it was important for me to see that stuff too. But it did make me think like, my 8-year-old daughter shouldn't be. You only get so many, years of them being kids. As much as you want to think of them as kids forever, realistically. And I'm like, I can't believe that she's having to deal with that and wish to Santa that mummy gets better. And she's a bit obsessed with certain things now, and she wanted to see my TikTok, and she likes watching the YouTube thing and stuff. And I let her, because I think it's important to be transparent.
Very proud of you.
And she watched like the video of her finding out that I'd made it into the mission that she's in, and she just said, "Oh, that was the best day ever." And I was like, "Oh," and she was like, "It was just the best news ever." And I'm like, for an 8-year-old to have that like emotional awareness,
I think. But she had that long before you had cancer. Yeah, she's always been in tune with people's emotions.
She's honestly brilliant, but I do think she's had to deal with a lot, and I do always say, like I said, it's like a lot of the stuff I do is for her, and to show her that mummy's still strong, mummy's still fighting it, mummy will get better, trying my best. And my heart just goes out to all the parents and all the kids who maybe don't have that story, or who are still going through the hard time of that. It's really not something any families should have to deal with in that way. Adults can kind of not deal with things, better, but we're adults. Whereas like when stuff like this happens to young kids, I think it can colour their perception of the world for the rest of their lives.
But it can also, for an already very supportive child, she's the oldest grandchild, she's the first grandchild, she's the first niece. She is always been 10 steps ahead of the rest because she's always looked at it like, well, I'm the oldest, I'm the protector, I need to look after everyone. And she is so deeply caring and the most lovable little girl you'll ever meet. And parts of her, and Moo, I do love you if you're watching this isn't a negative, but parts of her are soft. She is a very soft, sweet little girl, and I don't think she should have to need to toughen up, but this will give her some kick-ass boots for for when she's an adult. It gives her another strength to her character. Not that you want to look at good from this, because it's not good. She shouldn't have to have gone through that. But if you want to look at it from a better light, it's given her a life skill that hopefully she will have for the rest of her life now.
And the thing is, I do think a lot of good has come out of it. I know that's a really strange thing to like reflect on and see now, but like, you know, I think me and you are closer than we were before cancer was in our lives, unfortunately. You know, like I say, you were there. You came to so many appointments, so many chemos.
I was at both your appointments for the good news.
Yeah, you were. Yeah,
both.
For when I got my scan, like my midway scan.
Yeah, to say that it was
there.
working. Which then I burst into tears and left you, and I was like, okay, I'll let you call people back. Just left. And then the other one, you threw me and your mum out. You were like, guys, can you go to the shop while I talk?
Karen was doing my painting my nails.
Me and your mum went to Marks and Spencer's, and you did that. You wanted just a minute to process it yourself, heal it yourself.
I always had the worry that it was going to be bad news.
Okay.
And I'd never wanted to put mum through anything like that ever again. So I always kind of panicked if mum was there, thinking, "Oh God, it might be bad."
Yeah. I'm lucky that I could just be like, even if, because your brother was away so much, I could still be like, "Mum, kids are yours. Like, that's your way of helping. You're dealing with them." And I'm lucky enough that I've got a job that's quite I do flexi. It's up to me kind of how I work my hours, as long as they get done at the flexible workplace. So I was just finishing earlier and coming straight up to the hospital when you're an inpatient. I was able to only work a few days, so I would come to chemo when I could.
Yeah, I mean, I have that flexibility. I would say something, Aimee would be like, "Are you needing anything?" You know, when I was in hospital, I'd say something like, "Oh, I could do with, I don't know, jammies or like fluffy socks," and you'd turn up with like probably every pair of fluffy socks in they sold, like every pair of, you know, it was like everything, every single time you come in with something. But one of the really special things you gave me when I was in hospital was a photo of me and Millie. And then you made a little photo book up of basically
you and everyone that you love.
Everyone that I love, And I had that in the hospital with me, and that was really, really, really sweet. Like that meant a lot to me. It was a very nice gift for you to give me.
I'd love to take credit, but like Google's a great thing. Google is amazing.
So yeah, you did a really, you and Richard have supported me really like massively, and I'll be grateful for it forever. Even when I was at home, you and Richard were here a lot. And
I remember because your mum got poorly at New Year. We were living with you.
We went outside, you know, you used to help me do things that I didn't think I'd be able to do. You know, I couldn't regulate my temperature very well. And you managed to like get me out there for a little bit to watch the kids do sledging. Or, you know, I remember me cooking, or I don't know if I cooked or what we did, but we were here definitely, and we had tea. And I got to see George and Tommy and spend some time with them, which I'd not seen. You know, they never seen me. You know, it's easy to focus on Millie because she's just my daughter, but we're a close family, and my nieces and nephews mean a lot to me as well. So they wouldn't have seen me the whole hospitals and appointments and the whole time I was an inpatient and stuff. So even getting like that time,
and I know you are like, Gigi has your heart. I know that, but it was funny because during this, I think my son Tommy was sort of winning your heart over because he was the one that was like, "You're more beautiful without your wig. Like, why are you wearing a wig?" He got really obsessed with your hair. Really obsessed.
Tommy surprised me because he doesn't, probably even still now, he's probably not very keen on me wearing a wig. I mean, I don't wear them a lot now. I do. No. I like to put them on. You know, I had one on the weekend. I had one on last time I recorded.
But day to day, you're not too fussed about it.
No, my hair can, right now, I can wake up in the morning and it can be sticking up all different ways. So I'm like, I'll need to do something and I'll put a wig on just for easiness. But yeah, he really didn't like, he would ask, which I thought was amazing. If I was wearing a hat or anything, if you got have we gone
He
on
wanted to
dates?
make sure you weren't wearing your
Yeah,
wig. He was very like, well, no, this is you now.
yeah. And if I had one on, I don't know, I can't remember if it was like Christmas or what. If I had one on, he'd ask me to take it off.
Yeah. And there was little fun moments with the wigs as well, where
Oh yeah.
you've never let them be a dampening part of this journey anyway. But you bought so many that I remember when we were down one day, Georgia and Millie were getting to try on wigs, and they were both dressing up and trying on different hairstyles. It's not like you're even precious about them. You're not like, no, that's my hair.
No.
You're very easy Ozzy with that department, and it's amazing. Like I don't think you're a vain, but you look after yourself. You're not vain. You look after yourself, and you're not shallow by any means. But I did think,
I think I'm one of the vainest.
No, I don't think you're vain at all. Like you said, right? I said I was going to throw this one in here. You said last year in Marbella, we're lying, and I was like, oh my god, I thought you'd be a sun worshipper.
Oh.
Because you kept on moving yourself to the shade.
Girl, don't pay for Botox to lie in the sun.
Yeah, you said, yeah, but your first line was, I'm not getting cancer or wrinkles. And then at the time, you're lying there with cancer. Like,
yeah,
the irony
cancer,
in that.
but yeah.
Like, it was just insane that's lines coming out your mouth, and it actually it was happening.
I have to be careful. I can obviously manifest stuff out of nowhere, and even the bad stuff can get me. So I have to be careful what I let.
It's insane.
And so, was there a moment where you realized that I was ill? Like, was there like one moment where you thought, "Oh gosh, like she is actually really unwell"?
When I first really saw it was Halloween is a big one for me because it was the reality of you were keeping yourself far away from everyone, and I went home and cried that night to Richard. It made me really sad seeing that you couldn't take part, but you made sure you could, and it was sad to see that you just wanted to see all the kids happy, see Moo dressed in the outfit she planned for so long, and you were just like having to stand across the road and watch and be a cheerleader for them, but not get to be the person that normally is up at the door telling them to tell jokes. And that was just a massive shift for me. This is scary, this is serious. Like, she's not got the energy to like do the things she would normally do, but she still wants to cherish that moment
now. Like, was there a time that you thought, oh, like she's getting better, she looks better, she's because we did quite a lot of things. We went up Brimond Hill. That was quite a struggle, actually. It wouldn't be now.
But that was again a sad moment for me because your mum with her sore knee or whatever it was, and I was like, oh, them two are really far back, and then the rest of us were ahead, and so that was actually a sad moment. Like, oh, I wish that it wasn't that Hazel had a sore knee and Kelly was having to literally catch her breath, like you were the breathing side of it, but you're still you're still the life and soul of a party. I think my perspective has changed on that I'm more protective of your soul and your feelings and your heart, because a lot of our, like in my opinion anyway, a lot of the journey was not only me coming down to sit and look after you when your mum was too ill too, or coming to the hospital to see you. That included a lot of deep emotional chats, and that's not a negative. It's just I'm very protective now, and I don't want to see you sad or struggle. And there is that moments where the happiness is like you're living life to its fullest. You are going out there and doing your thing, and I'm so proud of that.
I know, I'm like, oh my god, I'm out again. Oh
yeah,
my god, I'm out
but that's
again.
good. That is what you're supposed to be doing. But the standout moment for me was Courage.
Oh, like yeah, Courage is brilliant. Yeah,
you just shone. Like, you were amazing.
And I think it's really nice for friends and family to see.
Yeah.
All of their loved ones get to do that. That's such a special thing that the charity does. I did love that. That was good. It was like, I know it's a charity event for cancer, but it was like cancer didn't exist in that room. There was the videos to educate and let you know people's stories. There's obviously the fundraisers. It was a cancer-based thing. But on that stage, you didn't look at them women or yourself and go, oh, a shame. Imagine what they're going through. It wasn't a sad part. It was a cancer didn't. It wasn't even just look how amazing they are because of cancer. It was just, wow, these women are just amazing. Yeah, no, it was incredible. To be fair, like, that women have meant a lot to me now. Got some very good friendships and stuff. That's good though. A few of them are coming on the podcast. Oh, that's good. That'll be quite fun. Yeah. And to see all your family and friends, like,
I've met your friends plenty of times because you, as I say, you were always a hub. So if it's someone's birthday, you've got like Moo's birthday, you've got your friends and family. You intertwine everyone in your life. But to see everyone there supporting you, and that they were also the life of the party. If there was the dancing, you had all your tables were up dancing.
I know, I was actually borderline jealous that they were having this great
Yeah,
time
like,
and I couldn't see
Your
them.
friends
I was
had
up
a
on
riot,
stage.
and your sister, we all know, Clet, you love a dance. You're amazing. Like, you're always first up without drinking as well. Whereas I am definitely a wallflower. I was just like, I'll sit and chill here until I saw Millie and Georgia dancing. I was like, I'll dance with the kids.
Yeah, it is a great night.
But your
People should
friends had
buy
a riot.
tickets to Courage and Brave is brilliant as well, because I've been to that twice now, and I do think people should buy tickets to the shows. They're brilliant.
You came out of this shining, helping others, going for the hardest options for the best results. It's mind-blowing. You've just done so much that it makes cancer less scary to me, and I know that sounds ridiculous.
No, but that's good. I think being scared of it or having a taboo around that word is probably worse than like facing it, because people then won't get symptoms checked in case it's that, and or they don't want to hear the bad news. Do you know what I mean? And I think taking that kind of thought process away from it. But also, like, now I'm very like, I think of myself as a little bit of a different person. I choose to be happy every day now. Wasn't really like that before, but I do now. And I hope that kind of also influences other people.
Yeah, you've done like, wish it hadn't entered your lives, but now that it has, it doesn't scare me. It's shown a light that not everyone's fortunate enough. Like, you can be told the worst of news with your diagnosis and stuff. I'm not meaning to belittle those that are sad about it, because everyone has different mindsets. And I was the one like, are you going to be here next year? In the moment, you don't know how you're going to react, but it is like, you looked at it like, I can let this ruin my life, or I can let it be the start of a new life.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Just blows my way.
Like I say, I'm very grateful for you.
Oh, I'm very grateful you're still here.
You took me to chemo or stayed with me. You know, okay, you didn't physically hold my hand because you don't like touch.
Oh no, don't touch me.
But, you know, you metaphorically held my hand a lot through it. Nothing was too big a ask. You know what I mean? Like, you literally were there.
You were doing the hard work. You were doing the hardest thing anyone can do. So going to get you some bedding, or driving you to the chemo, or sitting with you, none of that. It's emotionally draining, of course, because you don't want to see someone you love going through this and being in pain. But nothing's too... Kelly, you could have asked anything and I would have done it. Like, you could be like, yeah, Aimee, you're needing to go, like, walk 100 miles to get me there. I would do it. Like, nothing's too big of an ask, because you were fighting the real battle. You were having the horribleness and the hardness, and it affected my day-to-day life, but it affected every minute of your life. So don't blow smoke up my arse. It's not something that's required, because you were the one doing the hard work.
No, I think it's important for me to say thank you.
Yeah, I know.
You're definitely a prominent part of my support network.
Well,
without a shadow of a doubt.
It's just without a question. It's something that you have to do. There's no choice in the matter. And I wanted to. I'm saying half. I wanted to. There was not one part of that journey I was like, I don't want to be doing this. I was literally like surprising you at the hospital, like, hey, I was just driving home from work, so I thought I'd swing in past. So like, I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But also, with my models, how I am as a person, it's like, if someone needs your help, you do it. There's no questions asked, because if someone out with cancer, just any matter of life, if someone's saying they need your help, they need it. So why would you not provide that?
Yeah.
So with this, you didn't even need to say it. It's an obvious.
No, that's really nice.
And you didn't ask too much of people, because you are also quite self-sufficient, and it was a massive shift for you.
Person, I think, when you let
no, definitely not. Definitely not. I'll just do what I can for those I love.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
It was an interesting chat, to be honest.
Fair.
Because like, I don't really sit and speak about cancer. You know, like that way you don't really sit and have like usually it would be like what you're doing, what part of your treatment in, or I'd be speaking about it to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm finding it quite refreshing.
Hearing perspectives.
Hearing other people's, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Fair.
So yeah, no, thank you.
It's fine. I do love you.
Open and honest.
I'm glad you're here. Because in my head you weren't going to be, so I love you and I'm glad you're here.
Well, hopefully this episode will get downloaded just as much as the last one.
Cool.
And listen to. And if you do like it, please share it, like it, subscribe, whatever else needs to be done.
I've already done all that, so you know.
And yeah, share Aimee's story, because that's really what this is about.
Okay, I run now.
Okay,
Love you. Bye.